it is, Jets fans. The first complete game of the season, the New York Jets scored not only one, not only two, three touchdowns as they beat the Houston Texans. Final score 30-6 in a blowout win against one of the most competitive AFC teams in football. I did not expect this. Zach Wilson has to be the number one story of the game. You know what? This game was better than his game against the Kansas City Chiefs. 300 plus yards, 301 to be exact, 2 passing touchdowns. I think that's only the second time in his career he's done that, which is crazy. 27 for 36. Zach Wilson was balling. Like I said, it's a win-win with Zach Wilson coming back because either he plays well to up his trade value, which he clearly did today, or, the Jets lose and their draft position goes up. But, if you're a Jets fan, this was an awesome win. This wasn't an ugly win like the one against the Giants where you're like, well, I guess we won, but does it really help us? No. This one helped because the confidence that the offense will have after this game when actually things were clicking. Now, it took until the second half. The first half, it was pretty bad. Second half of football, the offense was rolling. Everything was going right. The play calls by Nathaniel Hackett, they were creative. They were innovative. He was getting the playmakers involved like Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson balled out over 100 yards. And you know what? That's something I see with Zach Wilson is he understands that Garrett Wilson is his best playmaker. And who's his second best playmaker? Breece Hall. Breece Hall had 86 receiving yards. So Zach Wilson, he identifies the best players and knows that they're going to beat coverage most of the time. That's what he did. Zach did an excellent job, though, at dissecting zone coverage. The CBS showed a stat. He was amazing versus zone coverage. And you know what? He did well versus man coverage, too. The one throw I think of was that little touch pass to Tyler Conklin. That was awesome, man. We haven't seen those types of touch throws since the Kansas City Chiefs game earlier this season. And what do you know when Zach Wilson is anticipating throws, when he's hitting his touch passes, he's at his best. And the Jets offense, finally we escaped the little box offense. Who knew that if you actually had an offensive game plan where you're attacking the defense and threatening them vertically with the middle of the field and more than 10 yards, that you'll actually win the game. So, great job by the Jets coaching staff today. It's about time they figured it out, which is annoying, but, they did it today. And the Jets embarrassed the Texans. This is a statement win. Now, it is a shame that the Jets are only 5-8 because, changes were not made until now. And is it too late? It could be, but this is great momentum. Zach looked amazing. Breece Hall was explosive again today, and that was great considering he was on the injury report a lot of the season. And something I mentioned in the preview video was that Xavier Gibson, I wanted to see him involved more because he had a great game last week against the Falcons for 5 catches and over 70 yards. And while he didn't have nowhere near the catches or receptions, he had that rushing touchdown. He did a great job waiting for his blockers, and he got that touchdown on that play. So that's awesome. He's one of our fastest players on offense. Good on Nathaniel Hackett for finally getting him involved. And you know what? He's a weapon. He's a weapon if utilized correctly, and he was today too. Randall Cobb touchdown. Who saw that? Because I certainly didn't. And the Jets offense was clicking. Hackett was in his bag. I will give Hackett credit this game. He's been terrible in probably 9/10 out of the game this season, or whatever it is. He's been awful. But today he did an excellent job designing zone beaters and man beaters. He was running a lot of mesh and crossing patterns, and the Texans could not stop that. So, tip of the cap to Hackett right there on the offense. But let's move it to the defense, because the defense balled out. I also called this in my preview video. The Jets cornerbacks, I had a feeling they were going to shut down the Texans because Tank Dell was injured, and I think that without Tank Dell, the Jets' cornerback room matches up very well against the Texans' wide receivers. And, Nico Collins went down right away, too. So, Noah Brown, he wasn't doing anything. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, they were making plays all over the field. I knew it. The Jets, they were a mismatch for the Houston Texans defensively versus the Texans offense. And you know what? I called it. I'll take my win there. It was a great job. I did not anticipate us slowing CJ Stroud down that much, though. Before he got hurt, he had 91 passing yards. 91 passing yards. The Jets defense has done it again. They keep limiting star quarterbacks to under 200 yards, it seems, every single game. It's crazy. Justin Herbert, CJ Stroud, Patrick Mahomes, we shut him down so much too. It is crazy how good this Jets defense is, and specifically the secondary. They excel, and you know what? This is a fun game to watch, and I gotta acknowledge him too. He's kind of the unsung hero. Greg Zuerlein, 2 field goals of over 50 yards in the weather conditions. The Jets, they have so many problems, but kicker has not been one of the problems. And I don't know if you guys remember when kicker was the number one Jets problem. I am so glad that kicker is not a worry for the New York Jets. Hallelujah. It's been since Jason frickin' Myers since the Jets had an actual quality kicker on the team. But speaking of the conditions, that's what makes Zach Wilson's game so impressive. It was raining. It was pouring. And Zach Wilson, he wasn't wearing gloves. He was accurate. He was decisive, stepping into throws. He had zip on the ball. That's what makes Zach Wilson's performance today so much more impressive besides the numbers. He did it in a tough weather condition game. He was slinging it against a pretty respectable defense led by DeMeco Ryans, who was trying to run essentially the same system that the Jets defense is. So, you know what? This was an exciting win. I know it hurts us in the draft, with our draft position. It sucks that happens, but you know what? This was a good victory. I felt fun watching this game. This was a fun game. I was excited. I was screaming. I was yelling. I was pumped up. This is a good win. This is not like the New York Giants win early in the season where it's like, hey, we won, but we look terrible, but you know what? We won, so it's all good. No, the Jets, they played complimentary football for the first time all season long. And 3 touchdowns. It's a miracle, fellas. It is a miracle. The Jets offense, when they push the ball down the field, when they take the training wheels off Zach Wilson, when Zach Wilson has that dog mentality and is playing like he did in college, slinging it and taking chances. That throw to Garrett Wilson over the middle of the field's crossbody, that's what I'm talking about. You know what? The Jets are 5-8. Let's just play with this confidence all season long. Why not? We have nothing else to lose. We're pretty much already eliminated from playoff contention, barring 2 straight weeks of the Jets getting everything going their way. You know what? Let's at least go down swinging for the fences. But I have to say, it is disappointing that it has taken this long for the Jets coaching staff to finally evolve and adapt and do things the right way. We as fans have been saying this for so long, so freaking long. And man, after today's win, you can only think what would have happened if the Jets coaches did what we were all saying they should have done. So let me know, Jets fans, what you think about this dominating win against the Houston Texans is. We got the Dolphins next, Zach Wilson. He's played interesting against the Dolphins in his career. He hasn't played too bad versus them. So let's see what can happen next week. But, enjoy the victory. This is by far the best Jets win all season, including over the Philadelphia Eagles, if you ask me. Because this game, the Jets just flat out dominated and 3 touchdowns. I felt like I was watching a real NFL team today. So let me know what you think, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.